This is where the story really starts.
Hey everyone, Justin Crumley here with the Cujo Productions channel. Welcome to another edition of The Film Cave. Today we're going to be talking about the film Weapons. This was directed by Zach Cregger, the same guy that did the film Barbarian. This film stars Julia Garner, Amy Madigan, Josh Brolin, and Benedict Wong. A newly hired teacher's entire classroom of children, except for one, all leave their homes on a specific night at the same specific time, and it's left to the small town of people to figure out what's going on. And as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, this was directed by Zach Cregger, the same guy who directed the film Barbarian. This was definitely one of the more anticipated films of this year, not just one of my own anticipated, but I saw a lot of people were very excited for this film. I'm going to start this one off by giving what I think would be a pretty unpopular opinion. I wasn't a huge fan of Barbarian when it came out. I've only seen it once when it first came out. I saw all the hype that it had. A lot of people were talking about how great it was. When I got around to finally seeing it, I thought it was okay. I didn't love it like everyone else. I didn't think it was terrible. I didn't hate it or anything. I guess I just didn't love it like everybody else. So, when it came to this film, I was really excited about it because the trailers were genuinely really creepy and really disturbing. And despite not being a huge fan of the film Barbarian, Zach Cregger, I do respect him as a filmmaker, and I think he can make a really good horror film. I also mentioned that this was a pretty anticipated film. I've seen a lot of people say that this is the best horror film of the year, that this is their favorite horror film of the year. I personally don't know if I would say it's the best horror film of the year or if it's my favorite, but I really, really like this film. I thought it was really, really good. It's a really effective horror film. I think that's the best word I can use for this one is effective. There are a lot of creepy moments that really got under my skin. There are a lot of like genuinely creepy moments that stuck in the back of my head. When I was going out to my car, I went and saw this really late. There were definitely moments in the film that stuck with me. It's an effective horror film, but I don't know if I would say it's the best that I've seen this year. But that's just my opinion. The story is told unconventionally. It follows the perspectives of different people that are tied to the events pertaining to the film, which, of course, I'm not going to get into for spoiler reasons. I know this film's been out for a few weeks, but I'm still not going to spoil anything. And I think stories that are told like that are always really interesting because when you're writing a story like that, you have to make sure that the small interactions that these characters have, they line up with the timeline so that everything makes sense. And I think that is a very challenging way to write a story. And I think this film does it really well. There's a lot of great suspense. As I said, there's many creepy moments that stuck with me, sat in the back of my head. It is a film that is genuinely unsettling. All that being said, I do have mixed feelings about the ending. I don't think it's terrible, but I do think it takes a drastic tone shift that, for better or for worse, I think does kind of bring the film down. I think it could have been done better, certainly more effective, something that matches the rest of the tone of this film, that being creepy, disturbing, unsettling. But the ending is very comedic. I do think that was on purpose. It didn't really ruin it for me, but it did kind of bring it down a notch a little bit. All that said, this was a very effective horror film. I really, really like this movie. I found it pretty eerie. It was certainly one of the most disturbing and creepy, unsettling films I've seen. Definitely up there this year with some of the best horror films. Again, I don't know if I would personally say it's the best, but I really enjoyed it. I definitely recommend seeing it in theaters while it's still playing. But if it hits streaming, definitely check this one out. All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. If you guys have seen Weapons, be sure to let me know in the comment section what you guys think of it. And as always, I'm Justin Crumley, and this is Cujo Productions saying, stay awesome.